If there was one thing you hated about the digital circus above anything else, above the annoying NPCs, above the adventures that were unbelievably exhausting, terrifying, and painful, or the simple fact that you were essentially stuck in a wacky prison with a weird cartoonish body, it was indescribable. A stale, stagnant air that had some quality in it. Like an AI tried to generate a regular flowing air system but just gave up on the final stretch. It was unnatural. And at worst, in the personal rooms of you and your fellow formerly human characters. Because of that, you spent most of your time in the large stage area, studying it, learning all the nooks and crannies. It was a healthy obsession. After all, the only thing that kept everyone from going insane and abstracting in the process was finding things to do, while playing your part in the adventures Kane gave out. It was a game of patience with your own head. A world designed to be a sensory overload 24/7 in a body that wasn't your own. That could break any brain. In the digital circus, you were a sort of werewolf creature. While you were built as a humanoid, you suffered from thick brown fur that covered your entire body. Luckily, you could shave it off. Sadly, the only means to do so was a wood chipper, which you had fallen into during an adventure, and learned that this was the best way to trim the fur of your hide. You hid it in your room to prevent Kane from despawning it. You'd cover your hands, lower arms, head and legs in bandages, and then throw yourself into it, freeing up your chest, upper arms and thighs. It was incredibly painful. And this simulated act of self-deletion did take a toll on your brain, but it also led to you looking a way you could accept. Your hands were large, and while you didn't have straight-up claws, your fingertips were hard and spiky. You had a fluffy tail that swung behind you, and no matter what you tried, you couldn't get rid of it. And since you got rid of most of your fur, you required clothes, which Kane provided in the form of clowny, baggy blue pants with a yellow star pattern and a half-blue, half-white, armless hoodie, the hood of which didn't fit over your wolf-shaped head. It also came with a golden zipper. This was acceptable, though the fact that you had to throw yourself in a wood chipper on a weekly basis to maintain this look was humiliating. Your name in this world was Zigzag, due to the zigzag shape of your fur. You perched yourself up on one of the giant plastic prop presents in the stage area. From here you got a good look at the countless doors covering the walls. You knew from experience that there were no rules attached to them. Opening them always led to somewhere else, and you were trying to figure out a way to tell where they led without opening them. You had been punched by a glove on a spring way too many times, and you would never admit to anyone how many times, even though you kept count. It was a total of 387. Your eyes narrowed. You had just spotted the shine beneath one of the doors change. Though as you jumped on the ground and rushed over to the door, opening it led to a punch in the face. Angrily you screamed as you rubbed the side of your muzzle. This punch had been so hard, if you weren't a denizen of the digital circus, you'd definitely lose at least one tooth. However, your humiliation wasn't over yet, as from behind you, you heard an evil giggle. Well, 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 look at that. It was Jax. The bunny man was clapping his hands mockingly. Are we trying to reach the exit again? You pouted as well as you could with your dog mouth. Ah, don't make that face. You have good talking, rabbit? You barked, and he shrugged. And what does that mean? You just wait for someone else to find it for you. Jax shrugged. Well, if you guys want to be suckers doing all the work for me. You growled. But, for once I'm not here to make fun of your attempts at finding an exit. I'm here to make a proposal. He rubbed his devious hands together. Crossing your arms, you stood there, yet your stoic expression was betrayed by your wagging, fluffy tail, showing just how intrigued you were by his offer. Why, yes, these bodies aren't exactly what I would call appealing. You narrowed your eyes. He just called you ugly, didn't he? They are durable. To demonstrate, he held up his arm and slammed it down on his knee, breaking it, though moments later it returned to its regular form. See? Right, I'm listening. So, here's my proposition. Let's test our durability with a game of spin the bottle with dares. Well, yes, we can do this daily. I'd still call this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You gave him a dangerously toothy grin and a glare. You just want us to get hurt. Maybe. Ragatha had already said yes to it, so did Pomni and Kinger. You exhaled, feeling the group pressure. Fine, I'll participate. But only because I'm bored and I don't want to be punched again. Good girl. Your heart jumped a beat, and you looked away, while Jax's grin became smug. Being called a good girl was a great weakness of yours, thanks to your new body. It excited it, in a terrible and annoying way. It got unreasonably excited, hot and horny. Even though you kept it to yourself. It was obvious thanks to that tail of yours, and the smell of pheromones you exuded in response. That's why Ragatha and the others stopped themselves from saying it, because they understood how embarrassing it was for you, but, of course, Jax didn't care. In fact, he reveled in it. And he used it as a tool to keep you on a tight leash. You followed Jax into his room, where the others were sitting around an empty bottle. They greeted you with cautious excitement, and you sat down between Ragatha and Pomni. So everyone, I assume you're familiar with the rules? Jax started after a long spiel about the durability of your new bodies and how much of a learning experience this could be. During his explanation, his gaze kept shifting to Kinger and Pomni the most. Kinger was frankly not mentally too stable anymore, not after Queener abstracted at least, and Pomni was the newest member of the group. You gave Ragatha a deadpan look. Her response was an annoyed nod. This was merely a setup for his amusement by torturing Pomni and Kinger, though there was nothing else to do. Jax then forced himself between you and Ragatha as he took hold of the bottle. He grinned from ear to ear as he spun. It was a knockout game. It would not end until there was one victor left. And after Jax set Kinger on fire and made Pomni jump off the high balcony that led into the stage area, you silently agreed with Ragatha to ruin the game for him. At first, you just came up with absolutely terrifying stunts for the rabbit to make, such as walking over a tight rope above the stage area, but he always just did it, and never hurting himself. And you couldn't just say he opened doors until you had punched. That wasn't fun, and wouldn't make him learn a lesson. But you had to commend Pomni. She was holding up her own, albeit she was quite shaken up. After all, by now she had broken and healed multiple bones by now. And worst of all, you and Ragatha needed to make punishing dares for Jax's victims too, so that there was no suspicion of you and the doll working together. During a small break, you and the redhead were sitting in a corner, discussing what to do next. "This isn't working," she sighed. "We need a plan. We have just been shooting in the dark." Crossing her arms, she looked at you. "Oh yeah? I'm guessing you have a proposal then." "Humiliating him. Not by hurting him, but by mentally breaking him." Ragatha raised a curious eyebrow. "Something he isn't expecting." The raggedy puppet rubbed her chin and thought. "Ladies," hummed Jax as he was getting ready for the next round. And then you closed your eyes. Your ears perked up, and it was difficult to keep your tail from wiggling as you did. "I have an idea," you said in a defeated tone. "And?" You leaned into Ragatha, whispering in her ear, and her cheeks flushed. "No, never." "What are you two talking about? You know, no teaming up." You hissed. "Fine, I'll do it then." You sat back down next to Jax while Ragatha positioned herself in front of Pomni in the hopes that by giving her less mass to be pointed at, she would get the brunt of Jax's sadism rather than the jester. Jax grabbed a bottle and spun it. Seconds passed as you watched the bottle roll. You could feel your sweat building up. And then it pointed at you. You looked at the rabbit next to you. There was a sadistic gleam in his eyes. As Jax was leaning against the wall, thinking, rubbing his chin, humming playfully. "You know what? I think I could go for some 7 minutes in heaven." Your heart felt as if it stopped, while the others jumped up in complete and utter shock. Ragatha shrugged at you, but you couldn't help but look away. That was what you had suggested to the doll. The bunny smirked. You must have listened." This isn't really a dare, isn't it?" asked Pomni while tapping her fingers together. But no one was paying attention to her. Everyone's eyes were on you. If you said no, you'd be out of the game. But if you said yes, you'd have to go into the closet with him. And though while that may have been your plan in the first place, him saying it, that threw all of your attentions out of the window. Jax leaned in closer to you and whispered, "You know, if we stay in there for more than 7 minutes, we're both kinda out of the game, right?" Hearing his voice right in your ear made your tail stand up. "Fine, it isn't against the rules," you stuttered. "Good girl. Damn it, you failed." Jax held out his hand, and you took it. "It's fine. It's just 7 minutes." Jax dragged you into his closet. where the rabbit man immediately pushed you up against the back wall. Well, 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 he hushed smugly. You are stronger than him, easily, and yet he could overpower you. You were weak. He clicked his tongue. You know, good puppies don't resist, right? His face came closer. I'll make you a deal. Make this fun for me and I'll leave the game. As a bonus, I even forget you tried to conspire against me. You felt your face heat up. But thanks to your fur, the blush on your face was hidden. But he could feel the heat radiating off of you. His right hand reached up, thumb gently rubbing your ear, while the rest of his hand wiggled through your fur in a pleasing manner. Jax hummed. Good girl, good girl. Now, let's take a look at your teeth. Your eyes widened as you felt his fingers on your muzzle. Carefully, almost gently, he pushed his fingers under your lips, pushing your mouth open, thick salvia dripping out of your gaping jaws. Yet all that Jax did was touch, rub over your sharp, wet teeth. The bunny smiled. Well, looks like someone is taking good care of their teeth. I do like that when women do that. You're right, I twitched. You felt so humiliated. With a smug grin, he touched your thick, leathery tongue. Your body shuddered at the sudden sensation. Jax liked seeing your reaction very much. His grin widened. I bet you want to take a big bite of me right now. Be the big bad wolf, he teased. Helplessly you struggled in his grasp. Jax grabbed your wrists, holding them above your head, making you gasp. Come on, be a good little doggy, and give the bunny a big kiss. You parted your lips. You looked at him, and Jax closed the distance. He was pressing his own onto the tip of your muzzle as he returned the gesture. He hummed as he became more demanding, pushing his entire being against you tightly before he forced your lips open. You could feel Jax's tongue glide against your teeth, eyes rolling back, your legs becoming weak. Now pushing your own wet organ against his. Your tongues met, his salvia tasting like sweet carrots. Your heart was racing, your mind feeling like it was about to shatter. This man was playing you like a fiddle, like a dog toy, here for his entertainment and nothing else. His hand crawled down your neck to the zipper of your jacket. Slowly he pulled it down, the sharp noise it produced making you shudder. Finally, he moved his head back. A thick, long string of salvia connecting your mouths. The closet by now reeking of your shared animalistic musk. I'm pretty sure those 7 minutes are over, he said casually. But you gritted your teeth, filled with anger and desire. Your thick claws now taking hold of the rabbit's shoulders, digging into his body. Careful, your pupils are turning into hearts. I'm going to ride you, rabbit, until next week, you barked, probably loud enough that the characters outside could hear it. You grabbed his overalls and easily tore them to shreds. Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive.